Good afternoon, everybody. It's very nice to welcome you here from lovely Bled. My name is Driekus Kriek, and for the past couple of years, I've been the dean here at the IDC Bled School of Management. But since I didn't continue the mandate, I've been tasked with a higher task and a higher authority, and that is to be the director of the Young Managers Program. Of course, I'm just joking, but the Young Managers Program is close to my heart and also close to the hearts of many of us here at the school. And therefore, it is really our great pleasure to welcome you in this introductory session on the Young Managers Program. And for starters, let me just share something with you, and we see how it goes.
Every summer, we have here at IDC Young Managers Program.
And the focus of the program is to get the sense of what it really means to be a manager.
What's becoming increasingly clear to me is how important it is to listen to younger voices. They own the future.
You get professors from all over the world. We are covering a wide variety of subjects.
So it's an amazing opportunity to meet people also from different countries.
Everyone's so motivated and so ambitious that I think it definitely also lit a fire inside of me.
Attention! Go!
I will definitely recommend this program because it doesn't matter the background you are coming from. It really covers a wide variety of segments.
I have one piece of advice. Be very ambitious as to where you go to further your education.
Just a small sample of what to expect, maybe just to get us back onto track. And perhaps appropriate for me just to say a few things of IADC. I know many of you perhaps would be familiar with the IADC from the region, but some of you come from other parts of the world, and therefore helpful just to give some context. The IADC is closing in on being 40 years old, and one of the leading schools in this region has been educating executives, managers from all over a large spectrum of countries, industries, and also with the different sorts of programs, including the young managers, all the way to various senior leadership programs, including a doctorate that I will speak about in a little bit later. We pride ourselves as the IEDC, with the I in the IEDC standing for international, that the participants, but also the faculty, comes from all over the world. We use up to now 66, potentially even more faculty from various parts of the world and all of all the continents, servicing our participants from on the various programs. Perhaps just to talk a little bit about what does it mean and what the IDC brings to you. Perhaps you heard from the little video, one of the professors, Professor Joe Pons, mentioned that the decision to be ambitious on where you pick your education is a critical decision for everybody to make in our careers. And therefore, the IEDC as a partner in that journey, your own leadership and your own management development journey, is critical. And therefore, it's helpful also for us to spend a little bit of time on what does it mean to be part of this family and what are the benefits that the IEDC may bring you. First and foremost, that being part of the IEDC family is a transformative opportunity. It changes you in the way you view your own skill set, helps you to track the journey that you're on in terms of leadership and management, but also grow and develop in you this identity as a leader and an identity as a manager. It helps to position you to also reach for different stars that you may have done. I already spoke about the international perspective. Just during the lunch break, we had a small little meeting with the program manager of the uh, Young Managers Program. Uh, she mentioned that there are already, as we speak, already participants registered from more than 10 countries just for this year's one. Same applied to the quality of the faculty of the IEDC. Comes from some of the top business schools in the world. Some of the faculty that we use are from Oxford, Cambridge, Queen's, IMD, INSEAD, CIDEP, also some of the parts in other institutions in the world, Hangzhou in China, Johannesburg in South Africa. So there are quite a number of the reach and the quality of the schools that we participate with are really amongst the best. We talk about innovative learning processes. You will perhaps also experience some of that when you get here in the way in which we use not only ex cathedra or teaching as a mode, very limited of that, but we have experiential learning, case-based learning, self-reflection. We use art to a large degree in some of our programs, so it is really an experience that is energizing. It gives us with focus, renewed energy to take our journeys forward. Of course, as you will see, we are on the shores of Lake Bled, one of the most beautiful and inspiring places in all of Slovenia and all of Europe. And that we use very deliberately too, to say that we are part of the environment, we are part of this, use that as a learning opportunity. We specialize in various customized programs focused on the needs of companies specifically, but we are ensuring that the journey that you start gives you lifelong support. And it gives you an opportunity to connect, to network, to meet other people. And you will find that being part of the Young Managers Program, this networking opportunity allows you not only to go beyond industry, but also beyond geography, and in many cases, even on the young managers, also beyond generations, because the focus of the Young Managers Program is on your first journey as a manager and not necessarily in terms of age. And of course, the school also prides itself on some of its accreditations. We're part of AMBA, the Association of MBAs, one of the 3 most critical accreditation bodies in the world. And we also have ICWA accreditation, the Central of Siemens, the Central and Eastern European Management Association, their quality association that is within the scope of dynamic societies. And we, of course, also have a local accreditation at the local accreditation body. Perhaps important also to see that when we say lifelong journey, that the IEDC has got a spectrum of programs, of which the Young Managers Program is the starting point of entry and something that is the focus of today, and that therefore appropriate to speak a little bit more about that. You perhaps are aware of the dates of that. That's the 24th of June all the way to July 3, nearly 2 weeks. And it is ideally for first-time managers. Now, first time, not of those that necessarily have their first touch of management, but people who start expanding their career prospects. Perhaps all the time up to now being focused on a particular discipline or a particular industry or particular profession. Now to add to that things related to general management, time to leadership, perhaps taking on specific challenges, projects, project management, and it focuses on expanding what we have been doing up to now. And these are the kinds of people that you will meet on the Young Managers Program. They are young, high potential professionals, executives, maybe executives in the sense of starting their process or their journey towards being executives, that brings with them a fantastic vibe a wonderful experience, a wonderful learning opportunity to learn from other people and also learn from other industries. So, what is the program all about? It is about, let's call that, and as it is mentioned there, condensed management insights. So, we know fair well that this is an opportunity to get, while I perhaps had this vertical focus in my career, now to broaden the horizon somewhat. And therefore, it is focused and it's aligned with expanding management knowledge and experience. Specifically on what does it mean to be a manager? How does it differ from leadership and how does it differ from being a specialist? We focus on what is the importance of leading, managing IT, the whole importance of technology, digitalization, automation, robotics, and what's the role of that in the careers that you will take part in. We focus on communication, critical communication, both on one-on-one communication, but one on groups and even in the context of presentation. Then we have a very interesting connection between finance, how to use numbers, how to use the financial performance and control of a company, and link that very directly to marketing and the strategy of marketing in the company, since they are intertwined, to see how numbers can be made real. And it is co-taught here by two academics. We also have focus on sustainability, half a day of the importance of connecting to sustainability. We talk about the importance of leading teams. We experience being part of a team, and we also learn what to look for when being on a team and what are the things to help to make a team performing optimally. And finally, we finish with a focus on strategy, how to look a little bit with a longer term view, how to have a helicopter view, how do we look at what are the elements, the critical parts that make strategy critical for an organization, and where do I as a manager and as a leader fit into this particular process. As I said, we make use of academics from various parts of the world. For instance, on your program, you can expect an American who has been living in Holland for many years, actually two different ones who had the same profile. One lady and one gentleman who are Americans, but who've been living in Holland for the last at least 10, 15 years. One of them taking responsibility for essence or essentials of management, and the other for communication. We have a Croatian who lives in Belgium, has been living in Belgium for the past 22 years. As a matter of fact, his mother is Belgian, so he has got dual nationality that will take care of the finance. We have somebody that is from Spain, used to be the dean and director of the MBA at IESE in Barcelona. And we have somebody who has been a senior vice president of Coca-Cola and the European region thereof. It will talk to us with strategy. And I'm from South Africa, putting a little bit of a further south, or at least the southern hemisphere part of the puzzle, to the full spectrum of international lecturers that you will experience. We focus on empowering you to take your job. We try to link you both with your colleagues and through the international academic network, through the international space that we work in. And we make sure that the Young Managers Program is full of energy and inspiration to allow you to put your feet in the water and feel confident to grow your career also as leaders and managers. We require 3 years of work experience, and over the last few years, at least 70, sometimes even more. I think over the last few years that I've been involved in, the year that we had the most countries represented were 23, and there was a few years ago. an average around 30, but that's kind of like a stretch in terms of the 30 that we focus on. Actually spoke about this already, but just to highlight that again, a little bit about marketing strategy. We tie that with finance, as I mentioned, how to use performance through numbers, focus on leading teams, communication and influencing. Spoke about strategy, and I also mentioned technology. And that's kind of like the core part of what we want to do. So as you look at this, it has got two main aims. On the one, the focus of it is to give you a broader general management point of view on how business are run and what are required in business. But as a second most critical focus of it, it also develops particular competencies. Those competencies that are required to manage, like understanding technology, knowing how to influence, what are the critical things in leading high performing teams, but also how to put that within the strategic focus or within the elements of strategy that are critical. And just lastly, talking also about numbers, we'll never forget that on the very first day that when I did my MBA, when we walked through the door into the management accounting class, the guy who was next to me gave me a little bump to my shoulder and said, "Well, Driekus, if you want to have a seat around the table, this is what you know something about." Those were numbers and finance, and therefore we include that very early on in your program as well and help you to build the competencies required to start building your career as a manager and as a leader. Some of the admission criteria, very early on, that we say that you have to have at least some management experience over here. Working level business English. The classes all take part in English. And it's not necessarily only the ability to listen to the classes, but the way in which a lot of what you will do would be in group work, amongst your colleagues, sharing different things with one another. And there, of course, business English or the competence in English is critical. Require two things related to the admissions process on a formal side is that there is a form to apply. Also give us some background about who you are, and in some cases this then also leads to an admission interview. The tuition fee, 3,400 for this year, something that you will be very sure that you will get your money's worth over and over, and not only in the way in which you learn and get the competencies required, but definitely and most definitely for the opportunity that you will get to network, perhaps even do business, but certainly to make lifelong friends. And that's the opportunity that comes as part of this tuition fee. So some of the experiences related to last year. I mentioned the working in groups. You will see that there are different ways in which the discussions take place, but it's also experiential. You will have a chance to be on Lake Bled, and trust me, there are very few places in the world that has got better views than when you're on a boat in the middle of Lake Bled, looking at the castle, looking at the chapel, looking at the mountains. If it is a sky blue day, and also to see some of the wonderful skies and the blues that comes across there. We also, since we experience something related to our leadership experience, we do something connected to how to build your own teams, build on the experience thereof, but also, and very importantly, if you see there at the top right-hand side, there are two photos of how we also facilitate interaction very specifically. And that we do through the use of international evening, where we connect people and give you opportunity to share and showcase some of the things from your country, some of the things that make your country special in terms of food, in terms of drink, in terms of practices, and in terms of culture. And we also have just pizza evenings or being outside on the terrace, having coffee, and do certain things in the classroom where we have interactive experiences and where we have opportunity for you all to meet. These some of the companies that's been supporting us for the last while. As you will see, they are some of the most important ones of the region and international ones and far beyond. Takeda, Japanese pharmaceutical company, Konchar from Croatia, of course, Nalabur, be familiar to many of you. Some of the pharmaceutical ones, Telecom from Slovenia, Serbia's NIS, Erste from Europe, and Generali also from Italy. So there are Austrian Post, AstraZeneca. You will just see that it comes from quite a large variety of supporters and people who start and send people on a yearly and an annual basis. Sasha Zupan is the executive education advisor of the Young Managers Program. And if you want to have more information, you are welcome to contact her on that number. I will give it back to you, leave it on there just shortly. But also invite you to, if you want to apply, also to contact her because all the material is there. There's also more information on the program on the website, www.iedc.si. That'll give you some more information. And with that, I'd like to thank you, but also if there are any questions, would gladly take some questions. And while you perhaps think or want to write something in the chat, you are welcome to do that, but I will leave you with a friendly face of Sasha if you would like to write down her email, mobile number, or telephone number, or make sure that you have the website of the IEDC handy. Anybody like to have a question or a comment? Welcome to do that in a chat. Not sure that I will see the chat at the moment. Colleagues, maybe Sasha, if I just move away from the presentation, I perhaps see if there's a chat.
No questions for now.
Okay, if not, then looking forward to see you or some of the representatives in your company, some of the young managers in your company, to share this wonderful opportunity with us very shortly, 3 or so months from now. It sounds just around the corner. So look forward to have you all here in the summer. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Bye bye.